Hi, I'm Barb from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and I want to talk to you today about the Triumph. I want to show you some special things that it does that maybe you didn't know. So I'm going to open my doors, and I want you to come right over here, Tracy, because I want you to look right here. We're going to talk about the belly of the whale right now. I'm going to raise my needles up to get those out of the way, raise my pressure foot up. In fact, I'm going to pop that right off. And now you can see clearly what I've got going on down there. And if you hadn't noticed before, I've got two sets of feed dogs. Can you get up in there and see those feed dogs? The back one is not stationary. It is in a set movement. It's not going to change. You can't change that one. You can't alter it. But the front one, I can alter it by, so I want you to swing over here and see what this is. This is the differential feed. Now go back over to the feed dogs and look what happens when I move that. When I go down, when I go down into stretch it out, or I go up into gathering. So when you're trying to affect your stitch, either gather or stretch, then that is going to be your best friend right there. But what I want to tell you about today is this is the upper looper. Sometimes we don't know whether they're upper or lower, and this is the lower looper right here. And on the upper looper you will find the subsidiary looper, and that plugs the hole, and that will come into effect if you're doing a flat lock or a blanket stitch, something where you're not going to use the upper looper. But most of the time this little guy is going to be right out of the way. There might be times where you can't get your upper looper to thread and you say, oh, I've broken my machine, I just don't know what to do. That would be the first thing I would check. Make sure that this is open, because if you try to thread the upper looper with that closed, it won't thread. It'll just go nowhere. All right, so but what I really wanted to show you was, here's the blade right here. I can put the blade up or down, and I have to turn my hand wheel a full revolution to make it go back up. But the thing that I think is so cool that I want you to see, I don't know if that thread's going to be in the way. Let me move that right out of the way. Move my upper looper out of the way. There's a stitch finger right there. Let me get my little pointer right here. There's the stitch finger right there, and there's the blade. Baby lock is one of the few, or if not the only, where the stitch finger and the blade move in tandem. So if right now it's set up for a 3-thread overlock. If I change that into the rolled edge, look what happens to that stitch finger. It's going to disappear. Okay? Cool. It's gone. That's what creates the rolled edge. Otherwise, with all those fingers together, it's going to form the stitch around those stitch fingers. But if I remove that stitch finger, it's going to roll the fabric under. But I'm going to put that up there, and now I'm going to adjust the width of the stitch. But look how the blade and the stitch finger move in tandem. That's very unique. And that's a very important thing to do, because then you can always tell how wide your stitches is. You will get a much prettier stitch, much prettier. Cool. All right, do you have any questions?
That was very informative.
Okay, well, thanks so much.